Hey guys, Corey here. Just wanted to send out a quick video in light of everything that's been going on and just try to get our head above the fray here for a minute. Some of you might have seen some of my recent posts on Facebook, but it's just really been getting me thinking. In light of everything that's happening, there's a bigger picture here going on. The Lord is the one that is orchestrating a perfect storm, and He's going to bring human history to a desired end. God is the one that's going to bring in a great harvest of souls. He's going to bring it in from the Jews and Gentiles out of every tribe and tongue. He's bringing forth a glorious church, unprecedented unity and purity and power. And the Lord is going to bring down this Antichrist system of lawlessness and establish His unshakable kingdom in the earth. And He's begun to just remind me of some of the things in these last few days that He spoke during our sacred assembly in September, where we took 30 days unceasing worship, prayer, and fasting and just sought God, contended for His kingdom to come. During that time, He spoke to me very intensely about the days of Noah, as He has been for the last decade or so. You know, as it was in the days of Noah, it says, so shall it be at the coming of the Son of Man. And back in Noah's day, God gave Noah a divine blueprint to build a very specific, life-sustaining ark of safety to deliver everybody who had ears to hear. And in the same way, Jesus is building a very specific, life-sustaining ark of safety according to this divine blueprint to deliver all those with ears to hear and not just endure the storm, but to prevail through the storm. And so everything that is in addition to this blueprint that the church thinks, man, this would be a great add-on, or that we're helping Jesus in some way build this thing, is going to get ripped to shreds in the intensity of the storm that the Lord Himself is orchestrating. And yes, God is using the devil, and He's using sinful men, and He's using creation groaning. But at the end of the day, God is the one behind everything that's happening to bring the church and human history to a desired end. And we want to partner with Him in that. In fact, the Lord began to remind me about a message He gave me during the Sacred Assembly that He spoke to me very strongly. And He said that towards the end of the year, so 2020, last year, that America's time of visitation had come. So what does that mean? Well, in the life of believers and in nations, there's unique seasons where God visits them. And it's a time of Him to inspect our labor, how we've built according to His kingdom values. And we are then either evaluated for reward and increase or loss. And that sometimes comes in the form of pruning and God removing things. And so He said to me, it was time to get our house in order. And so I knew He was speaking not only to me personally, my own heart, my own life, my family, but the church in America as well. It was time for us to get the house in order, because God judges and evaluates the house of God first before He evaluates the world. And so it's time for us as a church in America to really look at our labor and to answer the question, how well have we built according to the kingdom blueprint that God has given us? Or how many additional things have we stacked on to the ark? Can you imagine in Noah's day having all these, awnings and all this extra superfluous things all around the ark? Man, going through the storm of Noah's day and that flood, it would have been ripped to shreds. And in the same way, that is what's going on to these additional things to the kingdom in the Church of America right now. And the Lord gave me an example of Peter's life. Here's Peter. He is the man that God has chosen and ordained to preach the first message after the outpouring of the Spirit, to do miracles, to see 3,000 come to the Lord in a day. And so prior to that amazing time, here's Peter in his immaturity with the other disciples. They're arguing about who would be the greatest, as Jesus is saying, guys, I'm about ready to go to the cross. Prepare yourselves for this hour. And they're going, who's going to be the greatest and sit on your right and your left? And so Jesus, looking at Peter, says, Peter, I love you, but Satan has asked to sift you like wheat. But I've prayed for your faith that it should not fail. And when you return to me, strengthen your brothers. Peter must have been saying, wait a second. So So Satan asked for me and you didn't rebuke him? No, I didn't rebuke him because this is going to be good for you, Peter. This is in preparation for what's about ready to happen. See, in the state of your heart, in its immaturity, you preaching and people coming to the Lord and you doing miracles in this state of immaturity and pride and this inflated view of yourself, this would be injurious to your heart. And so in God's mercy, he allowed Satan to sift Peter. He said, in fact, before the rooster crows this night, you will have denied me 3 times. That's the reality of your weakness. Even though you think you're strong, I see the truth. And so in God's mercy, he allowed Peter to be sifted. And he related that to me saying, Corey, I'm going to allow the church in America to go through a sifting, not because I'm angry with her, not because I'm disappointed, not because, of any of those things, but because I am preparing the church in America for the greatest outpouring of the Holy Spirit ever seen in human history. And in the state of her heart, the inflated view that she has of herself, it would be injurious to her in that state. And so I'm going to allow a sifting to come to prepare her for future glory, for greater works. And guys, that's where we're at right now. There is a day coming called the day of the Lord that Jesus alone will be exalted in that day. And so he is humbling us all. I don't care what side of the issue you're on. And I don't even care what issue it is. I mean, pick which one you want to talk about, right? Everybody's got opinions. Everybody's pointing the finger, accusing one another, arguing with one another, debating one another. It's all just mindless rabble right now. Guys, this isn't the hour to point the finger. This is the hour to examine our hearts, to go to the Lord with our disappointments, with our inflated, heightened emotions, to go to the Lord with the things that are stirring us and to ask him, God, in all of that, what's happening right now, what are the lies I'm believing? What is your truth that you have for me? Because when we point the finger at somebody else, this is one of Satan's oldest deceptions. When we spend our attention and we put our focus on somebody else, we miss what God's trying to do with us. So I want to encourage you, let's not point the finger anymore. I don't care what side you're on, you're going to get humbled. Everybody's going to get humbled by the end of the day. The Lord's word is true. He gives grace to the humble, but he opposes the proud. And he's preparing you to give you grace. So he's going to humble us all. So let's not point the finger. Let's take all of our stirred emotions and all the things that are happening in our hearts right now to the Lord, and let's talk to him. Let's say, God, what am I believing that's not of you? In what areas of my life are in disagreement with you? My own heart, my family, my church. Let's take these things to him. Let's humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God that he could give us grace and exalt us in due time. And so, guys, we are being prepared right now. No matter how it looks, I don't even care. This is just a fog that's going to blow away in a minute. The church in America is being prepared for the greatest outpouring of the Holy Spirit in human history. A third great awakening is right around the corner. God opposes the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Let's be those who humble ourselves, receive God's grace, and we are prepared to be useful to him in the days ahead. Just know, we love you. We're praying for you. The greatest days are yet ahead. Marantha.